And this is little Thor standing up and walking around on his own, like the boss we always knew he would be. His hips are staying in place, and he's learning how to get his feet under him, and it's all good. Little brother is not ready, so he's still taped. But what that tells me is we definitely have a handle on this. I also taped Fluffy's two babies because one of them especially, but the other one a little bit too, were looking a little bit off. You see how one of them is heavier and fatter than the other one? These two hatched on the same day, but I think one was actually probably nearly 24 hours ahead of the other one. And he's always been a little bigger and a little stronger. So the little one definitely looked like he was going splay, and I taped the bigger one just in case. There's a period where they're just learning how to really walk that it's hard to tell because they're kind of splayed out and clumsy all over the place. And it may be that the older one was just there, but the younger one definitely was doing a bit of a splay. Hip was not involved, so it's all good. Problem solved. Just to recap what I have discovered. And it's little bits and pieces that I picked up and finally put together. You're supposed to give these birds their vegetables. It's good for them, okay? But you can't give them something that has that much bulk and that little calories when they're raising these chicks with this incredibly fast growth rate. So my birds will continue to get their vegetables, 4 or 5 days a week. The young adult, the juveniles and the adults out in the flight cages, absolutely. And once these little babies start learning how to eat, they'll get offered vegetables 2 or 3 days a week. But they're still in a rapid growth period when they're there. So you can't overdo it. Of course, with regular parakeets, you can give them tons of vegetables. It's fine because the babies grow to be 25 grams. With these babies that grow to be 65 grams, if you try and offer them a bunch of vegetables, they'll start going into malnutrition. The other thing is vegetables have a lot of water in them, and I'm offering a calcium supplement in the water. So I give them vegetables and they stop drinking. The parents stop drinking the water and the babies don't get any calcium. So it's a double whammy, and that is, I'm going to guess that is why I had frequent issues with rickets, or what they call splayed legs, or stunted wing development last time around, and now I know. So this is the other piece to the food puzzle for babies. They need a lot of protein, of course, because they're growing to be quite large, genetically much larger than they're really kind of meant to be. So seeds have a lot of protein in them, but proteins are made up of amino acids, and seeds, there's like 27 different amino acids, and seeds only have about half of the amino acids. They need an animal-based protein source to get the other half. Animal-based meaning a protein source that comes from an animal instead of a plant. Seeds come from plants. I read an article where there was a guy talking about offering them watered down milk instead of water to give them animal-based proteins. That sounds like a very unnatural diet to me. I mean, they would never run into anything like that in the wild. So I kind of shy away from that because it sounds so unnatural. But what I have stumbled onto is I always gave them hard-boiled eggs. Anyway, once in a while, once a week maybe. Because I knew that they had lots of protein coming in from the seeds and lots of fat coming in from the seeds. But it turns out they need different kind of protein, not just the seed protein. So I am pulling vegetables. If you can see this, I gave them a tiny little bit of vegetables, and I gave them their tiny little bit too, which they gobbled up. Tiny little bit. And now, when I have pink babies, under 4 weeks old, they are getting hard-boiled eggs, which I mince up with a whisk, and then I add yellow egg food to it, which is a dry, crumbly egg food, food that's made out of eggs primarily, plus it has some seeds in it and some minerals in it and stuff like that. So I sprinkle that over the top of the hard-boiled egg mash, and I give them a tablespoon of it every morning on their white plate special. And as you can see, Razzle here gobbles it up. There's just dust left there. And feeds it to his babies instantly. And they are putting on weight because of the added calories, the added protein, and because they're not getting filled up with all the bulk and roughage that the vegetables were putting in them. As a matter of fact, their poo is also tighter and looks healthier. So, like I said, this is different than regular parakeets. A regular parakeet, you can do just about anything and they'll manage to bring up those babies without too much trouble, because they're raising something so much smaller than what these budgies are like. So I'm thrilled that Thor is now tape free. His little brother is not. I took the tape off of him and looked at him and said, nah, not ready yet. And I will probably leave Fluffy's oldest chick at least, both of her chicks taped until tomorrow morning, and then I'll pull their tape and leave them for the day and see how they look in the evening. Because like I said, there is a period where they are all splayed out and clumsy and strange looking because they're learning how to walk and keep their feet under them, and they have to develop the strength and stuff. And since they've been taped, they haven't had to develop that strength. The feet have been stuck under them. So it does take them a little while. So I'll watch them and see how they go. I expect that the older one will be fine. I don't really think there was anything wrong with him in the first place. The younger one I'll watch and see, and if by tomorrow evening he looks like he's getting a little splayed again, I'll put the tape back on him for a few more days. But I'm pretty sure that I have found what the issue was. It's, my feeding program, which works great for juvenile birds and adult birds, doesn't work great for little pinky babies. They need more concentrated nutrition than they were getting. So, and since I give them a calcium supplement delivered through the water, they need food that doesn't replace drinking water from the cup. So yeah, I think we salvaged the situation. I'm thrilled that Thor's okay, and I think his little brother or sister is going to be just fine in another couple of days, and I'm pretty sure that Fluffy's babies are just fine too. We'll just give them another little while, make sure everybody's up and running again after my little error. So. Tomorrow is the 20th, which is the first possible date that Fluffy could hatch an egg. So what I'm going to do, I have these two pairs in here. Breezy, I stopped looking at eggs. I stopped peeking in boxes because I suspect a part of the problem with the high embryo mortality is that I open the box and the hens panic. And kick the eggs around all over the place. I mean, they literally bounce around and they're like ping pong balls. So I'm stopping doing that. But tomorrow is the day for me to, first of all, see if we've got anything hatching out of here. She's got 2 viable embryos last time I checked. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. The chick she's fostered, the egg she's fostered from Remington and Razzle, I had fostered her 2, and one of them fizzled, and I don't know which one survived. So it could either be due to hatch tomorrow or 2 days from now. So, but tomorrow we're going to candle eggs and see what she looks like as far as viable chicks. And after we do that, we will get Breezy out of here, and I'll see. Last time I looked, she had 7 eggs. The first 2 that she laid were infertile, I think because I ran her out of the nest box by propping it open. And well, actually I might not pull them. And then we'll have to see if she has 7 or 8 eggs and start counting embryos. I could see if when I candle the eggs under Rainbow, I know she only has 2 in there that are even fertile. So that means that we have room for 1 of Breezy's chicks, to get fostered into here. If either one of them look like they've been compromised, we may have room for 2 of Breezy's chicks to get fostered. So that's why we're going to look at Rainbow's first, and then we'll come over here to Breezy's, and I'll know whether I'm going to do a embryo reduction down to 4 or down to 5 embryos. I'm pretty sure she's going to have at least 5, maybe 6 live embryos going. So I'm pretty sure we will have to do a reduction by at least 1. But we'll find out. She may have, some of her eggs may have fizzled or something. It's a little hard to tell because I haven't been looking at them all along, but they should. At this point, her first egg is still a week out from hatching, so that means that her oldest embryo would be, they hatch in 19 days, will be 12 days into development. So the one at 12 days, the one at 10 days, and the one at 8 days should be solid. I won't be able to see a thing. But you get down to the 6th day, the 4th day, and the 2nd day, and I will be able to tell by their stage of development which one's the youngest one and which one to cull. And if any of them are clear, in case something failed. So there she is. Hi, Miss Thing. How you doing? You got a handsome man. You got beautiful eggs. Your boy Apollo that you had with Bubba looks just like you and is absolutely stunning. And it's all good. Oh, Bond, you're the bomb. Bond was doing the hypocalcemia shiver, meaning he hadn't been getting enough calcium. So I've been feeding them the egg food, A, to get them used to it for when their babies start to hatch, and B, because the yellow egg food has calcium, a calcium additive in it. It's not going to be a lot, but maybe enough to get a little calcium going in Bond's bloodstream and help stabilize him a little bit. So he's been getting that for 2 or 3 days. And today, after I filled up their bowl and their plate with calcium water, there was a little left over, so I added some calcium water to his water dish too. I just want to make sure he's good and stable and strong. And hypocalcemia, when it gets to the point that they're actually shivering, is it can be a little dangerous, especially for for any of them. So he's getting a little support, and I haven't seen him shivering for the last couple of days. So I think he's getting what he needs to kind of stabilize. And by the time I'm done pumping his chicks full of calcium, he'll have gotten so much that his hypocalcemia will have gone away completely by the time it's time to release him into the big flight. Okay.